I think I'm live. We're here today. We're gathered here today on this beautiful day to do our mandatory meeting. Mandatory meeting that is game development. I am very busy, unfortunately. So I'm going to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing outside of the stream, which is continue making this template slash sample project for Hollow Knight like. I've been working on this for past 2 days now. Well, past one day specifically, because yesterday I played Baldur's Gate all day. I'm making pretty good progress. I've been making pixel art, which is always the most time consuming part. But I think I am enjoying it and learning a lot. The hardest part isn't even the making the game itself. The hardest part is thinking through, you know, like obviously there are ways that I would do it, right? I would make it so that like the game works, but it's not all about just working. It also needs to feel like it's something you can follow along, easy to understand. So I'm also compartmentalizing, like splitting parts where it'll be like, oh, this part is a script that you plug in versus like this part is something that you program yourself as a beginner. So that's always interesting. But I also don't want to rob too much of the experience away from the people who are learning either. So it's not all as simple as making the work go away, you know. So we'll see. We'll continue. So far, I've been spending way too much time with the control feel. So as you can see, I have a controller here. You have a little like up attack, side attack, down attack. You can see. I did some like dead zone on the controller too, so that the side and the top feels like pretty good. Only thing is, when you're attacking while walking, I made it pause. But if you're attacking while jumping, it doesn't pause. It just attacks so that you can go like that. Though I feel like, I'm not sure if I'm crazy, but that last frame, I feel like it's staying on that last frame a little bit too long. I do kind of want it to transition away from the last frame faster. I don't know why it's doing that. I feel like it's not transitioning back to the fall animation. So let's do that real quick. The attempt was to have this controller node separately so that the control can be programmed in this node and people can just kind of plug that in. And all they have to worry about is giving the mapping of the function name. So you can see like the input, you can like put that in, but music is getting a little loud here, so I'm gonna adjust that. Well, at least loud in my ear. I don't know, it might not be that loud to you guys, but here we are. But we're making it work. White Hebrew is okay. Hi, it says I'm dual seed line Christian identity. Look it up. I don't know what that means. Is it because of my title? Is this why you're commenting this just based on the title? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And I'm a coward. Coward that doesn't want to search things online and read things that could potentially be controversial. Maybe I got into the controversy itself by saying Xmas in the first place. Learn more? Okay, I'll do that later. How about that? Can I do that? I'm busy here. Gee. Interesting things to receive. Okay, anyways. So continuing on. Okay, I see that it's important. I'm taking note right now. Look up dual seed line Christian identity. I will do that, okay? And then maybe next time, after the holidays, we'll have something to discuss. I don't like discussing things without being informed fully, right? We should all feel that way. No opinions until I make my adjusted opinion. Okay, back to game deving. Oh yeah, that's right. So the character, when they are attacking, when they're done attacking, they need to be falling. So comes over here, it says, hey, can you fall? And then is the velocity greater than or equal to 0, then we do the fall performance. And this is based on if it's not attacking, it is not already falling. Ah, this is the issue. Okay. I suppose, this hey, as much as I love to hear miscellaneous thoughts, it's not on topic and it's not for my audience. I understand you want to say a bunch of stuff. I don't think I will let you keep chatting if this topic continues. I already made my statement on that. Does that sound good? You can vibe. We can talk about it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to mute you. Just an FYI. Do it on another platform. It's not. This is not the space for it. Time and place. Time and place, everyone. Okay, so I made it so that it can only fall if it's not already falling. So what I'm gonna do here is, obviously, when it's falling, I do this. I suppose this should be like, hey, you can fall, right? All of these are satisfied. Not on the floor, it's not attacking. And additionally, we can perform fall if you're not falling. Otherwise, or you are falling, but the animation slash, not slash, sprite animation is not fall. Yeah. So it'll transition to, as soon as the attack is done, if it is falling, if the animation does not equal to fall, then we're going to transition over to fall animation. There's so many like little like states. Obviously this, a lot of people like to use state machine for this. I actually like handling animation state itself as a code more than that. Poison Dart says, Dev Ezra, how are you? I'm doing well. We're having our last hurrah before the holiday break. There are a lot of things going on. I do have to finish this platformer. Somebody was asking, being like, hey, are you planning on doing a Hollow Knight-like game development tutorial on Godot? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that, kind of. Not the complex part. The simple part will be part of the course. I'm launching a course right now. Okay. Interesting. You see, like, there's like a momentary stagger. How it's like, for a brief moment, it pauses, I feel like. Am I crazy? It feels like it's pausing for a second. Is it by design? I mean, if it's accidentally good, it's good, but I still want to be able to control that. So if it is out ascending, it can fall and is performing fall. We're gonna set, oh, we're setting the velocity to 0. I think we shouldn't really set velocity. Yeah, velocity shouldn't set to 0. I think what it actually needs to do is, if velocity is great, less than 0, then we're going to set it to 0. Otherwise, we're going to use already downfall momentum. Starfish Prime Game says, is it pausing the fall when attacking? It is. I made it purposely like that, and then I changed it. So there's a few things. So if I'm attacking while going up, I want it to immediately transition to falling animation. Because I noticed that if I like make it go up while I'm attacking, it feels not as smooth. Control doesn't feel good. So I made some changes here. We got the up attack. Oh, I fell. Next thing I need to do is definitely coyote time. That's the thing that I wanted to add. Obviously, you could add coyote time by making the collision box a little bit bigger, but then that also means you can stand. I need the coyote time to be based on not the collision box, but based on the what do you call the time in air. So I'm gonna do that real quick. By the way, I drew all these animation myself, so aren't you proud of me? White says, what company do you work for, or are you an indie dev? I'm an indie dev at this moment. I am individual in a sense that solo dev is probably more appropriate. I've been just doing this for a while now. Right now, once again, for the bazillionth time, the context is that I'm launching a course for a beginner course, like a very, very beginner course with some coding, but like teaching Godot, and the goal is to help them make their first game like this one. So I'm going through making a platformer that feels and plays like Hollow Knight, and then distilling it down to some pieces that can just be drag and dropped and copy and paste it, versus some pieces that are simple enough that people can learn. So I'm basically doing some lesson plans here, along with making a platformer as well. Okay, coyote time is something that I want to do, but before that I want to do the enemy character first. So I did finish making the enemy character. Last time on Yu-Gi-Oh! We were working on our enemy sprite. I fixed it. I fixed the idol. You can see the idol is a bit more breathy. It's fatter. We got the run. It's kind of cute, right? It kind of looks like a red Grinch. And then we got the attack animation. So this is what I'm going to use. Poison Dart says, programmer art is the best art. Thank you. I appreciate that. If only that was true. I mean, it's still a placeholder, but I do enjoy making pixel art. I don't know what it is. I just can't deviate from pixel art. It's just pixel art feels the best for some reason. And I like crisp pixel art, the one that doesn't use anti-aliasing as much. But that's definitely a preference. Okay. First, we got the player character control down. I made it so that these things show up, the hitbox, and so I made it so that there's no rotation. The hitboxes just turn on and off based on where they're hitting. I did that conscientiously so that there's no like rotation calculation or like being all fancy to reduce the number of usage. I'm trying to bias towards something that can be expanded upon, that is simple to understand, a little bit tedious to implement, but simple to understand for the purpose of the lesson. So we got that. So hitboxes and hurtboxes are all there. The detection of the hitbox and hurtbox hasn't been done yet, but I do want to make it so that enemy character doesn't actually collide with the player. It doesn't like that. I don't want them to like push each other. The collision box is invisible to each other. It's only for the ground. That's what I wanted to do. So the collision layer for the enemy basically is only looking at the enemy collision, and then the player collision box as well is only monitoring the player collision box. It doesn't live in there. It's only monitoring to figure out what to do. The tile map will both be existing and monitoring, and hopefully that'll make it so that if I spawn enemy in like so, doesn't obey gravity just yet. I'm gonna implement that in a bit. that I can just go through. Yeah, that's good. So I can go through. I'm gonna have to make it so that if I kick, I float up. But that's the next thing. Yeah. Okay, it's good to see that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that the enemy character also obeys gravity. I think I'm going to make a movement nodule separately that people can just copy and paste. Poison Dark says, lol, I draw a hell of a stick figure. I can write programs to make better art than I can draw. You're a mathematical drawer. Hey, that's a skill. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to do, because I want to copy and paste the velocity fall thing, right? We got the ascending and falling. Honestly, this is like exactly the same. Nothing changes here. This is called player character, but there's nothing that's specific to player here. This all uses the same thing, except the animation name. So I think there's an opportunity for us to be like, oh, these are just how player character bodies move. And besides, the actual control of which animation and which movement that happens, or which physics implementation is turned on, is done by this like controller anyways. So let's see if I can make it so that the simple code can be even further simplified for each pieces. You know what would be cool? If I can add some sort of like over here, if I go, hey, you know what? This one, I'm going to say movement or character movement handler. Okay, so let's make that a node. And I say this is a character movement handler. Though it's going to be missing some context. So I'm a little bit afraid of this, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll put that under enemy character for now. Because once again, I'm trying to make this like as compartmentalized as possible. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. I mean, this seems a little bit long name-wise, but we'll see. Our subject, which is movement subject. Obviously, we're saying this is going to be character 2D, character body 2D. And this one's going to be assigned the enemy character here. And the idea is under physics process, it's going to do something with the subject. And basically, the gravity thing, I mean, this is like kind of fake way of making rigid body, because rigid body already has that function to like toggle on gravity, toggle off gravity and stuff like that. So this is basically doing that function a little bit. So it'll have stuff like gravity, acceleration, I guess, or call it just gravity. No, say should I apply it separately? Constant acceleration, which tends to be gravity. I mean, I'm trying to think like if me calling it gravity is good naming, because calling it constant acceleration is more like widely applicable, right? More generically applicable, but then it's harder for newer people to understand what that means. It's like, what do you mean constant acceleration? How would I have known that this is where I put the gravity stuff? And it's true. So I'm gonna say gravity. amount. I mean, I hate this naming, but it's whatever. By default, it's going to be 10. And then basically is floating as a boolean, which will ignore, if it is floating, it's going to ignore the gravity amount. If it's not, gravity scalar. Hey, look, that is the technically correct term. Once again, I'm trying to come up with these words that feel not too scary or hard to understand for an absolute beginner. Gravity force. Gravity force. But technically it's not a force, right? Because it's meters per second square. It's acceleration. See, this is the battle between like what I know and what people understand. It's like I'm trying to bias towards what people intuitively understand versus technically correct term. Because technically correct term for gravity force is, you know, force is based on the weight. Force changes based on what the weight of the object is. Well, not really. I heard Funny Boy says gravity, intensity, magnitude. I think intensity. Also, hi. I think gravity force is fine. Let's keep it gravity force for now. Is it floating? So basically, obviously, if subject is missing, we're not going to do anything. If gravity, also, if it is floating, then we're not going to do anything either. Now, technically, this could have been like, or blah, blah, blah. No. I'm trying to clearly distinguish between the two separate cases. In terms of execution speed, it's not that different. It's only like 2 cycles away. Doing it in a single line versus doing it like this really depends on how the machine code is implemented. So this is readability for the sake of readability at the cost of very, very minute performance impact. So I'm okay with that. So don't come at me for being like, you could have wrote that whole code in a single line. Look, we could do a lot of things, but we don't. For a purpose here. Okay, simple enough. We're going to say, hey, if it's blah, 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 we're going to say gravity gets applied. So we'll say the subject velocity equals to... this is not correct, by the way. This is acceleration, so this is the delta. If it's truly an acceleration, we're going to say this is going to be multiplied to the delta time since last update. So this will give me the difference in velocity that needs to happen. Futile Diploma says, are we game jamming or just building? We're just kind of building. Once again, I did update the today bot command, but essentially we're making a platformer. Think of it as jam, but I have a very tight deadline. I'm launching a Godot course for total beginners, and the goal is for them to experience game making in a month, that they can finish out a game they want with like small customizable pieces and learn a lot of the concepts, plugging code in, downloading code and plugging in, and then understanding some of the basic stuff. So I'm doing a Hollow Knight like game creation as an example as I'm planning the lesson as well. So I'm like breaking things apart so that I can make the complex part of the game or complex part of the code in its own thing on module or node, so that people can copy and paste or drop it into their thing, and it's generally applicable and adjustable so that people can adjust the numbers while keeping some of the basic logic of the coding experience into some of the major pieces. So long story short, I'm making a Hollow Knight. That's the goal. As you can see, so far what I have is the player character with all the animations created: down, up attack, side attack, fall, short jump, long jump, no run yet. So I just finished the player character basically. So I'm trying to get the enemy character working now. essentially. That is where we're at. But yeah, hi Futile. So part of that is making the movement handler a module itself. So, because you know what we're used to? We're used to looking at tutorial and being like, directly into the character body, we do the move and slide, right? What if we actually just drop in a node and all we do is give character body and it's all of a sudden it starts to move, you know? So that's the idea here. Futile says, gonna have it set up for noob to do in a month. Nice. Yes, exactly. And it's paid course, so I'm providing a lot of value. So I'm trying to be as valuable as possible. I'm trying not to be scammy as much as I can. At the end of the course, I want people to be like, oh my gosh, I want to do more. And it obviously there's like a weekly group session and stuff like that, so we'll see. Okay, so this is the delta velocity. Minus is actually up direction, so we're going to do plus here because we're decelerating by this amount. And I think I already did the number here, so I'm going to copy it from here. This is doing 30 per. Interesting. It's 30 on both. I feel like when it's falling, it should fall harder. That's usually the player feel, game feel. Like so. So I'll make this gravity force like 54 now. Ginger Dev, yo, how is it going? It's going well. Hello, everybody. Good to see y'all. We're making our little platformer thing. You can look at the chat for context. But lesson plan, platformer, Hollow Knight, all of the above. A lot of planning, compartmentalizing, really thinking hard on the, what do you call that? Composition design. Wow, the Ginger Dev just grabbed first. Can you believe that? Nobody else thought to grab first. Wait, it doesn't do anything. Oh, it's because you guys don't have your berry folk. Well, I'm surprised that you guys don't have your berry folk. Plant your berry folk seed right now. If you go to the Twitch reward, or not reward, the redemption, there's a redemption for planting a berry folk seed. And then once you plant your seed, you can water them 9 times to get your own berry folk. And the type of berry folk that are available, you can see is on top right here. So get your berry folk, get your first tag. If you claim a first with your berry folk, you get a little finger that says number 1. And then there are shiny versions too. By stealing my crown, you can get a shiny version. Hey, you got the dice berry. Nice, cute. Anyways, that's how it works over here. Collect your berry folk now. There is probably a playable game in the future. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Way in the future, but future nonetheless. Okay. Let's see. Now, don't crash my server though. This is running locally, by the way. The API is running locally, so if it's not optimized, it's my fault because I made that in Godot. All right. So the velocity fall, that's cool. State management of the character. Should that be a movement handler state management? I suppose we could. So we could copy and paste all these state management variable. I know this is kind of funny that I'm doing this like state management as a boolean as opposed to a state machine, but I feel like for certain like complex state transitions, I like this better than actually having a state machine. State machine is for like when I can't like possibly visualize what's going on. We'll get to state machine eventually. We got ascending, falling, and attacking. Facing. And then we have the character, I guess, also provide the animation sprite. This could come and bite me in the butt, potentially, in the future implementation, because not everybody uses animated sprite 2D as their sprite. They sometimes use other stuff, and actually this should be like a abstract class that can do certain functions as opposed to it being straight up animated sprite. Before now, we're going to do it this way. That also means we're going to provide the sprite animation here like so. And these things can change. And they will change based on these things. I already did some of these things. So I'm just kind of copying and pasting the information from my player character logic. And we're going to change some of these things here. These are movement controls. We don't need cooldown here. I think this body movement control is not going to base on any cooldown. It's just going to straight up tell you, okay, can you do this based on current state or not? Hey, Mikori. Mikori says, hello, I have a question. Oh. Funny Boy says, I'm a little Godot. Oh, did you get the Godot berry? Nice. That's my favorite. Legendary says, I built my own custom one too. Use Unity for my overlay. Oh, I see. How hard was it to implement the Twitch integration? Mikori says, hi, question. What is the question? Speak your mind. Okay. Velocity not declared in the current scope. Yeah, of course not. It's going to be subject. So we're going to say subject velocity is going to be this. Subject velocity is going to be that. We're going to do all this eventually. And subject velocity y. Subject is on the floor. You know what? We're not going to even worry about floating or not. That's just built in. I'm not going to worry about generalizing this code too much. I'm going to purpose build this for a platformer specifically. Mikori says, have you heard of MS employee that said his goal is to remove all C and C++ code with Rust using AI, and the goal is M1 1 million lock? What's lock? LOC per dev per month? I don't know what the LOC is. Lines of code? I never heard this before. This is an official statement? Or is somebody just saying some bullshit? This was like somebody from the senior dev from Microsoft saying this? Interesting. I'm gonna have to read this. That just sounds like... I mean, here's the thing. In corporate world, doing something like that is a easy, like, no-brainer work to get promotions. Successful or not. Because engineers are only... They're not necessarily... In big companies, each individual roles are not judged by the success of the project. They're judged by the work they've done and complexity of the work they've done for the project. So the complexity, and if the company says our AI is to transition, improve, or our goal is to transition, improve the benefit of the AI, blah, blah, blah. So this is the goal. So you say, I'm going to get promoted. I need something that impacts a bunch of teams. I need something that is huge. And I need something that uses AI, for example. Then this kind of checks that list. Even though for outside point of view, it's like, that feels kind of silly to do. Like, why break something that already works just so that you can use all these things while you have your answer? So it doesn't surprise me. But I'll try to see that. I mean, this is why I don't like corporate culture, honestly. Like, it's just, at some point, the whole thing becomes a game to get promotion and more money for individual. Not for the company, not for the project, not for the product, for the individual. And this is the capitalistic mindset, right? We have the capitalism theory of like, okay, if we assume everybody's greedy and everybody is for themselves, then we make a theory based on that, where the whole system works because everybody is assumed to be greedy. Well, it breaks because people start to utilizing they're greedier than the system imagined. And then it's like breaks everything down. Mikori's giving the link. Here's the first post I saw. Then there was a clarification post, which in my opinion is bit. Yes, okay. Okay. But this is not even. This is some AI person. It's not even Microsoft. He's saying he heard. Why Microsoft? Wow, Microsoft wants to use AI to wipe out all C and C++ code by 2030 and replace everything with Rust. Rust of anything. Why Rust? Why Rust? I mean, that makes no sense to me. This transition going from here. Okay, let's say this is legacy and they want to update it, but why Rust? That makes no sense. And then it says their new North Star metric: 1 engineer, 1 month, 1 million lines of code. 1 engineer for 1 month to replace everything? That's impossible. Microsoft distinguished engineer Galen Hunt writes in posts on LinkedIn, in quote, "My goal is to eliminate every line of C and C++ for Microsoft by 2030. Our strategy is to combine AI and algorithms to rewrite Microsoft's largest code base. Our North Star is 1 engineer, 1 month, 1 million lines of code. To accomplish this..." Oh, they mean like 1 million lines of code per engineer per month. Doesn't mean they're going to use only 1 engineer. We built the powerful code processing infrastructure. Okay, so they have some system that they can trust that they can do this. We'll see. Our algorithmic infrastructure creates a scalable graph over source code at scale. Our AI processing infrastructure that enables us to apply AI agents guided by algorithms to make code modification. This is so redundant. AI agents guided by algorithms. You mean that you trained AI agents based on algorithms? Or are you saying that you made AI agents based on an algorithm? Like you structured AI agents. The algorithm is structuring the AI, or did the AI learn algorithms? Because learning algorithms is not coding. So I don't know. This is like some garbage in my opinion. To make code modifications at scale, the core of this infrastructure is already operating at scale and problems, so it's already being worked on. Okay, let's see the original post. Galen says, I have an open position. What's distinguished engineer in Microsoft? I never heard that position. I'm guessing that means a senior. Anyways. Mikor says, because people say Rust is C without the sin parts. You know what? Maybe I should be more familiar with Rust. I'm not familiar with Rust. I have an open position in my team for IC5 principal software engineer. Oh, okay. So this role is not a starter role. This is like, so you have a entry, you have quote unquote senior or regular. So it's above entry, and then you have a senior, and then you have a super senior, and then you have principal. Typically, so there's a 5th level up from the entry. So these are not like, 2 years in engineer. These are like at least like 8 years, 10 years, 20 years engineer. So I mean, it makes a little bit more sense because they're supposed to like understand everything, and that's their whole purpose. Okay, maybe I can see it, because the whole goal is like, okay, we're going to use AI to do a bunch of stuff, and then only super seniors who are really knowledgeable and of the infrastructure could monitor this. So that makes a little bit more sense, though 1 month is still a lot of code just to read. Even if I'm just like reading to validate, that's a lot of code to validate. Farquan says, hello, how are you guys? Pixel art, amazing, thank you. We love pixel art over here. We're just getting distracted a little bit because Mikori shared some information about some news that are going around that's kind of crazy. Follow up. The headline about Microsoft wiping out the C language on Windows by 2030 needs context. This isn't a concrete plan for Windows 11, 12, or future versions. It's just research effort, according to the developer behind the update. Okay, yeah, see? I mean, qualifying that this is for research is less impactful and viral than just saying, they're going to replace everything. Yeah, no. It's just studies. It's just like trying to see if he can do it. Because if he can, then you're proving out the tech behind it. For Kwanzaa, so okay, so you're making a game right now? Yes, we are. We're doing some stuff here. We're getting a little distracted at the moment, but it's okay. It's okay. We're making some sort of, I would say, I keep forgetting the word. The word is composition design pattern for everything that's in this. So far, where we're at, just give me a second. Let me organize this real quick. So, Brooklyn says, sorry for asking, but are you Chinese or Japanese? Neither. All right. So, I am American. Whoa, wait. Oh gosh, my jump got really heavy because I changed those numbers. Let's make it back to 30 here. Feels a little floaty, huh? 40, and then I don't know. I thought the fall down needs to be faster. Let's see. We'll make the jump speed 1,000. Let me start real quick. Okay. Short jump, high jump. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Less glidey. Okay, we got this. Nice. So we're going to use that as basis. Furquan says, I mean, I did try to make pixel art on Blender, but I love high poly models. You know, everyone got a different taste. Yeah, I know. I know some people are like PS2 style low poly. Some people are like high poly. Some people like real Unreal Engine fidelity. Me, personally, I love high-res pixel art, meaning pixel art in the world of HD. Doesn't mean but then that still obeys the original pixel art rules. So not like 2.5D. I have when I first saw 2.5D, I thought it was cool, but the part of the 2.5D implementation community just makes it look bad. Where the 2.5D, the 2D part of the 2.5D just looks like a little like cutout that's floating around as opposed to actual part of the world. So, you know, there's something like that. Our first question is, like, you kidding, man? I'm proud of you if you're Chinese. Oh, I'm not Chinese. Okay, Futile says, how is Godot with 3D worth a shot for isometric simple game? I'm not really sure. Oh, thanks for the follow, Furquan. 3D, I think 3D is okay. I don't know though if isometric is any easier. I've seen people do it, but unfortunately I can't speak from a personal experience. But here we are. So we're gonna do some enemy character here. So physics, we're gonna fall. We have ascending, falling. We have all these logics. Now we need to create basically the same thing we did here with the player character. Player character, we had all these cans and performs. So we're going to copy this over, actually. We're going to copy this over. We're going to have to do some cleanup here, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. It's going to be broken in the beginning, but it's okay. I just need to make it more generally applicable now. McCree says, speaking about 3D, I recently started a 3D Godot game project making a fun arcade shooter for me and friends using C# no GD script. Oh, fun. Let me know how that goes. And maybe you'll have a lot of information that you can teach us and teach me. Because like I saw some people who make the whole stuff in 3D, then they convert it onto pixel. You mean like the shader? there's a pixel shader, which looks good. I like them. I like the minimally shaded. There's a two different shading. So shading as in like depth shading, like the shadow shading. So like it's mostly like flat color and then it's pixelated. I do enjoy those. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. We're gonna have to fix some of the information here. Perform run will be just running animation. We probably want to do some mapping here so it's generally applicable. Starfish Brown Game says, I would love higher quality assets above pixel art, but I also like making progress with all the feature creeps. You know, that's the question of the year, right? So we have pixel art, and then we have cut the rope. Technically, these are HD images, and it's 2D. It just looks arcadey. You can't help it. Look at it. These art are what I call like very like vector art. So the future is vector art, right? So vector art makes it so that at any resolution, your art looks crisp because your art is just math. I don't know if there's a high resolution here. Vector art in games. I mean, you gotta be careful. You have like Castle Crasher and stuff like that, right? Why does it look bad, though? I mean, some people might be like, this doesn't look bad. Here, how do I zoom this? Open image in new tab. Like this one. This is not a pixel art. This is like a drawn vector art or like just high resolution art. Looks bad. I personally would have liked this better if it was pixel art. Looks cartoony because of the thing, but it's a style. It's a style. But this just makes it look like a Flash game to me. Doesn't look like it belongs in a game console or a gaming world to me personally. And then you have like Hollow Knight. Right? Hollow Knight gameplay. Amazing, still 2D, not pixel art. Jeez. I don't want to stop playing videos. Open image in new tab. Definitely not pixel art. Hand-drawn looking. They're not drawn at a low resolution. They're drawn at a high resolution with pen and pencil type of thing, like with tablets. Like regular illustration art. Smooth, stylistically, you know, more details can fit in. Feels like piece of like art or like animation. That's a style. High resolution 2D art. And then you have Celeste. Boom. Mixed resolution. The base game is in a low resolution pixel art over the world of HD where other things are high resolution. Stylistically, it's keeping the gameplay and then the things in this style, while the UIs and everything still feels like, oh, I can tell when the game was made type of thing. But it works, right? And that allows you to do stuff like this right here. Look at this one right here. I really want to show it. Right here, you see the light? Do you see how the light is emitting? And it's not pixelated. Light is not pixelated because they're doing sub-pixel lighting. So the color is changing within a single pixel. Single pixel is going from one gradient to the other. So this is not a true pixel art. It is a pixel art living in a high definition world. This is, I think, the modern pixel art, where at a glance, it looks like everything is just traditional pixel art, but something feels high fidelity, and that's because of things like this. Like even the shadow, you see the shadow is still following the same pixel rule. However, some of these subtle things like the glow, the UI is high fidelity. I don't know. There's something to be said about that. Let's see. For example, like I saw some people who make the whole stuff in 3D then convert it to pixel. Mikori says, something I enjoy is when people use 3D models with like Blender and make it 2D pixel art. I like that too. It's interesting. I just need to look clean and intentional as opposed to accidental. Furquan says, so what you think? I only got 4 months of experience, so am I good with Blender stuff? I mean, like, there are a lot of tutorials. You can get away with a lot of things. But obviously, you know, it really depends on how you take it. Like, crappy art or like simple art still works for a game. It just needs to be very intentional. And once again, everything needs to have a purpose. It needs to be intentional. If you make a drawback or if you decide that you're going to do lower fidelity, your whole design philosophy shouldn't just be just because it's faster to make or easier to make. Forgan says, yeah, it looks good though. Yeah, exactly. So, do what you will. Hey, Protoss. Thanks for buying the shirt, by the way. Protoss sent me the picture of them wearing the hoodie. Big money drop. Now that is support. Okay. So, hold on. We got the can run, can control movement, which comes with certain, you know, things. I do think that potentially there's an opportunity to do some abstract classing here. And that abstract classing could be like, should that be done on the character body? Because somebody needs to define what it means to be able to control the movement and what it means to be able to run. Or is it not necessary? Maybe it's not necessary. So we're going to say play run here. This one does have a run animation. Can attack. We have the attack cooldown for attacking. Okay. I guess that also can be part of the control here. Attack cooldown. And then that's going to be in second. We'll say maybe like 0.2 second per attack. Let's say 0.3. And that's going to be times this lost attack is going to be recorded separately. Oh, Automat held Furquan's message. What did Furquan say? Oh, that's fine. I don't know why it blocked that. Furquan says, if you want to have a look at my stuff, it'll make me happy. Just search Google for Quain01 in our station. Why did it block that? Here, I'll do it off screen and then confirm first. How about that? Furquan says, I've made some product and industrial renders because it's my niche. Oh, it's your niche? Hey, look, I'm sure you're better than me then. What is there to judge, you know? We can give opinions. How about that? Industry art design. Oh, yeah, look at that. I like that. Product placement. Or product design. It's pretty cool. Color theory is there. I like the contrast and tech. Well, I mean... Oh, these are all renders? These are not real things? Pretty good. Interesting. A lot of product render. Good design. Do you manually light these? I'm sure you follow a lot of these rules. Lighting is important, you know. Interesting. I think it's pretty cool. A lot of like monotone color schemes I'm noticing, which informs the product better. I wonder if you got these feedback. I mean, your renders are great, by the way. Renders are great. Color composition is good, in my opinion. In my non-professional, plebeian opinion, color composition is good. Could be better, but that doesn't mean you're bad. Like, it means you're good. I think you're good. Like, if I have to, like, if I'm forced to give you a criticism, that would be my criticism. It's something about the color composition. Like, it looks good. It looks good as a thumbnail. Bam, 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 bam. Peaceful, has view, beauty. There's some accents, like the direction of the eye. Obviously, we know all about the direction of the eye. Like, if I look over here, I get the overall vibe immediately, and my eye goes immediately to the mirror. And then it's going over to the shelves. And then it's going over to the whole counter. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it has the overall vibe. It has the overall beauty standard. But I don't know what the story you're trying to tell is exactly. And there's some that are better. Like, for example, like, this is a clear story. Scaffolding switch to is advertising and highlighting switch to, and it's like colorfulness or whatever. Great. And then it's showing off the render here, glass. Like, that I can see that the purpose is to show off the render. But as a composition, it's like, next level is like, okay, you're showing off your skill. I can see that you're showing off your skill. This portfolio is completely just showing off your skill and what you can do. But if we're going beyond that to say, what are you telling the story of as you're showing this? Like, aside from your technical skill, I'm not really sure I'm getting that as much. Like, this one is better. I like this. It's kind of interesting to look at. Text is not clear for me, just looking at it immediately. Stuck between the rock and its green. It looks beautiful, whatever. What is it? Is it supposed to be, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I can say about this. Render looks great though. I know it's probably funny to hear like some non-artist talk about somebody else's art like this. I mean, like, what do I know? Yeah. But Furquan says, yes, I've made them from scratch, and you can scroll down and you can see some progress too. Yeah, I'm still trying to make the color stuff more interesting. Like, I don't know what it is. What is the story? Because I don't make stuff for story. I didn't think about it before. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I think that's kind of important. I mean, look, you'll still get hired with that portfolio, I think. But like, let's say if I'm like looking for someone to, so there's two things. If I'm looking for someone to give direction to, and I am confident that they can execute on that, I think you're a great candidate. But if I'm looking for someone as a small developer who needs to take over the design process, right? Design process, then that part is a little bit weak in that portfolio. Okay, I think this is fair. This is an interesting thing to talk about because, yes, I'm not a designer. I'm not an artist, but I am a potential buyer. And as a potential buyer of someone who cares about my game, about my product, even if I'm not an artist, I have a story and focus that I want to tell. When I look at your portfolio, if I'm looking for someone who's going to take the lead in the design aspect, everything, I need someone where if I see the product, I can feel a design direction beyond just looks good. And that's a hard skill. So that's the only thing that I guess is missing, but that comes from experience, I think. I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Who knows? Maybe I'd have no idea what I'm talking about. Forkwan says, "Yep, made a lot of mistakes, but just remember, if you made mistakes, so you'll learn what you did exactly." It looks great, though. I like it. I think your skill is great. It's a top notch. Good render. Photoreal with like minor, like it looks like it's the photo edits, which is its own skill, and there's a purpose for that. But you know, I don't think we have to. Do we? Should we? Okay, so these are hard-coded animation names. I don't know if this is like necessary. So let's say I mean, we could do mapping. We can do mapping of like var of animation names. Then we can have export of side attack. For example, we can do air side attack. We can have air up attack. This is a little bit tedious, but it might work out. I don't know. I'm just going to write this down and then replace all these string name with a variable. And then that means I can customize it over here. And then we'll talk about, well, I'll think about breaking this down a little further. Air side, air up, var air down. And then we have side attack, up attack. And then we have jump, up, and then we have fall down. Technically, this could be its own thing, but we'll see. Farquan says, like, if you see the first model, you can't handle your left, but I'll always try to make something greater. And we'll talk later, Guru, but it's midnight for me. I want to sleep. All right, good night, Farquan. Thanks for sharing your work with us. I think it's great. Don't let my words say anything to you. I have no idea what I'm talking about. The thing is, what I'm really good at isn't actually giving valuable feedback. What I'm good at is pulling stuff out of my butt to say for the sake of saying something. I'm like the original ChatGPT. If you force me to say something, I will say it. Might not be correct, but I'll come up with a thing that I can say that feels right. Shahil Singh says, hi, is this really live? I've ended in few streams which showed live but were pre-recorded. Happy Christmas from India. Yeah, it is live. I don't know. It's hard to rename titles. This is live. Should I rename all my live VODs into not live? When it's live, I think you see a red little dot that says live. Yes, you caught me live. I'm sorry you missed my live for so many times. Okay, so we got the attack animation, we got the jump and fall, we got the run animation. And then I suppose we have the idle. If there is one. So we'll do that. Sahil says, no, not you. Not me, what? Oh, you mean like other people in general? Sorry. That is life, I guess. Well, here we are. We are alive. We're all here. We're having a good time. Just try to generally make this like character movement thing be applied. There are a few things I could probably... Oh. Right. Because this one uses the animation player, as part of it. Tricky. You know what? I'm not going to worry about this just yet. Gonna get rid of this for now. I'll comment this out, actually. I'll call this sprite animation. We're doing okay here so far. Floor is attacking, is falling. Sprite animation fall will be fall. Sprite is not declared, so we're going to say sprite animation for this one in particular again. Anti-Material World says the absolute operates as a complete immutable source. From him, what the heck are we talking about here? Complete instances are instantiated. Each instance is self-contained and valid in itself. Creating any number of such instances does not reduce, mutate, or exhaust the source state. We're talking about final? Wait, is this like a computer language way of talking about a religion, an entity that is absolute? Sahil says, explain what are you doing? Currently, I am making my platformer sample game that I'm going to use for my course. Course being the my Godot beginner friendly 1 month to make a game for the first time course, and I'm having a lot of fun. Part of the struggle right now is not the making game itself, but breaking this down into different like attachable components so that it's easy to program and easy to learn, where you don't have to learn to do everything. Some of them you can just kind of copy and paste and not have to fully understand, and understand later as the lesson goes on. We did the platforming, we did the player movement so far. I'm trying to copy some of the information from the player movement to copy it over to the enemy movement, except I'm trying to make the movement compartmentalized so that it's like, what do you call, using the, oh gosh, music is too loud. Using the composition design. We're using GDScript. I mean, GDScript is suitable for the beginners. And also, I think GDScript is kind of great, honestly. I have no reason to think that I need to transition over to C just yet. There's no, like, literally there's no memory operation I need to do for a lot of the games I need to create. And also, you can mix them. Godot allows you to mix and match different coding language. based on what you need. So not a problem, I feel. So let me just do this first so that all the errors are gone. And I can confirm that the... Okay, we need the slash animation that's separate. We're gonna get rid of that real quick. Subject here. Get rid of this. Air down attack. We're gonna try to change these as well. Up attack animation, air, up attack animation, air, down attack animation. Subject is on the floor. Subject velocity will start with the half of jump speed. And then the added jump speed will be the continued jump. It's okay. I guess this is a movement control, so I'm going to keep it here. I'll do jump speed or jump force, I suppose. We can change that later, not a problem. Added jump speed, that's another little variable that I'm going to use. Which is going to be float. Okay. So far, so good. This needs to be changed, but it's okay for now. Attacking, sprite animation, animation fall down animation is on floor. Yeah. Subject is on floor. Hey, Tony. Welcome, welcome. All right. I think we're chill here now. Okay, all the errors are gone, so I can launch without any issue. We can still control our player. Still, nothing's going to happen. Oh. Cannot call play on a null value. Oh, sprite animation is null. Oh, I guess so. There you go. I don't think it should do anything. Is it going to... Oh, huh. Okay. I guess it does work. I didn't anticipate all of that to actually work. All right, so we have still movements. We got the character, down attack, up attack, down, down, down. Yeah, cool. Okay. I feel like I need to do to reconfigure the keys. Okay, fun. Interesting that the thing is now doing the idle animation. I don't remember telling it to do that, but I'll work with that. So for the enemy character itself, I don't actually have any of these like air attack, up attack animations set up. It's just attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it so that all of these attack animation just simply uses the attack animation for now. Just simple attack animation. The jump, right now, I don't have any jump animation. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. This maybe does this as a jump and fall down. So jump is going to be just in air, actually. In air. While in air, the enemy character... What the heck? Character sprites will simply look like this. And that means over here, we're going to say in air. Fall down is in air. I know you guys can't see that because of my face is covering the screen, probably. But basically, I'm writing the parameters here. Maybe I should make my face smaller. My face seems to be a little bit too big here. I'll not Trim, edit. There you go. A little bit smaller. Now you guys can see more of my screen. Sahil says, I'll check your stream later sometime. Thank you. Says, bye, bro. I am going to go now. I was taking a break from studying. Gotta go. Okay, have fun studying again. Bye. A lot of people just chilling. Studying on Christmas Eve. And potentially Christmas, depending on where you are. You say you're in India, so that's 12.5 hours away, depending on where you are. If you're in Hyderabad, that's definitely 2.5 hours away. In the future? 2.5 hours in the future, yeah. Or is it 11.5? I don't remember. Sevenkin says, hello, Ezra. Merry Christmas and stuff. Hello, happy holidays. Welcome, everyone. We're doing great here, I think. You are allowed to say that. You're allowed to say whatever you need to say. You know, honestly, we don't take offense to what you celebrate, you know? I think the whole, like, bad taste comes from enforcing and complaining other people not accepting you. You know, just understanding that people will reject you and then being okay with that is, I think, the crux of the idea. Sale says it's 4 a.m. 25 December. So merry holidays for you guys. 4 a.m. So right now it's 2 p.m. That's 12, 13, 14.5. 14.5 is rare. No, that's not 14. Is it 14? Hold on. 2. That's 12, 13, 14. 13.5. Am I crazy? 13.5 or 14.5? And if it says 0.5, it's definitely somewhere in that India, like, middle line, the Hyderabad area. I mean, obviously, with Hyderabad in the center, you have all of this, so you could be anywhere. Semikin says, well, I need to say this. You look fabulous today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know based on what, but, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. I take all the compliment I can get, because that's where we are. That's where we are in our desperation times. You know how I know? That's what I mean. Well, happy holidays. I am sure you look fabulous today too. Okay, we're making our platformer here. Okay, so we just did the model thing. We changed some stuff. I think we're okay here. Next thing I want to do is I want to give this control to the character. I want to know if the whole, like, falling thing is working, first of all. So I'm gonna float him and see what happens if it's floating. If it oh my god, this module is just working. That is amazing. Did you see that? It just fell. Like, all I did was just copy and paste and added this, like, little character movement thing, and it's working. So that's great. Right now it's gravity force 50. I think I want to change that. Gravity force here. Well, I don't think it's even applying that, so we're gonna probably do this. Gravity force for the enemy. There it is. All right. Also, this platform is a little bit too high, so we're gonna have to lower this if I want to get on there. Samkin says, thank you. I always look fabulous, except for when I don't. Don't we all? Don't we all? This is the life. This is the life we ascribed ourselves to. Let's do this. Let's see what that looks like. I want to actually be able to go on it. You know, moving platform. Did you know that moving platform is actually pretty hard to implement? Oh my gosh. Still not enough. Hey, let me up. Okay. A little bit more change required here. I have to do one of these. That means we definitely need to Yeah. Oh gosh. Definitely need coyote time. Because jumping in the corner is definitely annoying. Yeah. Alright, that feels great. Run animation looks good. I don't know, I guess it could be faster. Tony says, do you participate in game jams often or sometimes or almost never? I do sometimes. I do the big ones just because it's easier to make videos on. If I do every one of them, it's kind of hard which one is like well known. Yeah, I do those. Yeah. Let's do 12. Let's see if that's like too fast. You know, I do a lot of preparation that'll make me good at Game Jam, but I don't actually participate in it enough, I think. Because after this, I think I can make like platformer in like 2 seconds. Because all I have to do is make new animations. Right? Because it already has all the smooth control that you would normally like try to figure out. Falling, attacking up and down. And the whole idea is I just modularize the animations so you can just kind of do animation name for different things. Yeah. It's kind of cheating, I think. Sahil says we only do one time zone here. It's 4:14 a.m. everywhere in India. I see. That's smart. Well, thanks for watching. And I know you say you're gonna go sleep like quite a while ago, so appreciate you still being here. All right. I suppose first thing before I make the enemies move, what I want to do is when I hold on, character movement handler, I might have to give the character movement handler to the player and then make it work with that. YouTube Displent says, hey, pizza roll. It's not YouTube. It says white Displent, right? It says, hey, pizza rolls. It's been a while. Hello. Well, we don't like being called pizza rolls, do we? No, it's okay. Pizza rolls are amazing. That means we're delicious, right? Delicious but unhealthy. Or the better translation might be delicious and hard to put down. Because we're so special. Thanks. I'll be your pizza roll. How about pizza roll? What does Flance is interesting? Interesting what? Was it supposed to be an insult? Should I have been insulted by your comment? Well, no, it's my greeting. I see. Turns out I think everyone who makes platformer games for Game Jam have their own quote-unquote engine. You know, like very intuitive for them, set of ready-to-use tools. Because platformer is usually very expensive to make, like compared to other types of games, like top-down games. You would think that, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like platformer is kind of like, it is expensive to make if you want it to feel good. And there's so many things going on. Like, look at this character control. State machine, all that, you know, whatever. But that makes sense that people have their own engine. I even made a, what do you call, pixel art, sprite base animation, right? With a middle line. So I can just replace some of the eyes, the clothes on top of it, and then all of a sudden it's working. But yeah, I guess, I mean, that's a thing. Always like Game Jam, like using your own ready-made modules and base thing. Is that cheating? I feel like a lot of people just do that anyways. Sahil says, okay, bye. I forgot I have to study engineering. Does that to you? Yeah, it does. Goodbye. Have fun engineering. But yeah, thanks for the follow, Grizzly Bear Naked. I mean, I haven't seen a clothed bear in the wild yet, so you're not alone there, at least. We'd be free balling out here. Oh, appropriately, maybe we're poo bearing. Poo bear. That's what I do. I poo bear when I stream, right? No, you would never know. You'll never catch me. You'll never find out. My lower half doesn't exist, actually. I'm a ghost. Discipline says BRB. Okay, bye. Or see you later. Okay. 2 things I can do. I can move on to the player character and try to plug the character movement handler onto the player character instead. So let's try that. Let's try that. What I'm going to do here on the character movement handler, I'm going to make a animation sprite for specifically effect. So attack effect animation will be animation player, right? And that one is going to use this thing. And then I suppose animation name, this is going to be sprite animation names, which had all of these. Can I make it collapsible? And then we can do export category and say this is going to be effect animation name. Eventually this is going to be even more simplified to have some sort of mapping, but hey Celine, long time no see. I haven't seen your name in a while. Hello Az, I finally returned. Have been mega busy the past while. Well, it seems like, dude, it's a holiday miracles. We're getting all the family back together here. Everybody back on Ezra's stream, including Ezra. I know I've been away. I've been working on a lot of stuff. I'm working on the course. Mainly. Spend money. Oh, I was about to say, welcome back everyone. Buy my merch. Well, oh, where's my bot? Hello? Is this shop? Why is my command not working? Support as our camera. Huh. You know what? I'm going to have to do manual this. Yeah, go here. Boosh. If you go there, browse all. Remember, we got our 99% work burnt out merch. If you have ideas for like 1% in the back, right now we got the crop top. It's my favorite. I should probably order crop top for myself. And then we got this 99% burnt out. We got our little berry folk mug. I kind of want to make a squatberry sweatpants with the little squatberry icon like next to the that one. You know what? I should do that right now. We got the little pixelated art. I should really do a squatberry one for workout sweatpants. Go buy it. Thanks. Special holiday. Celine says, even the bot took Christmas off. Yeah, I know, exactly. Bots are like, it's holiday for me. Bye-bye. Okay. So we're going to do side attack NM, which will be side swipe. Up attack NM. Up attack. Well, this one's going to have to be different naming. So it's going to be effects. Up attack effect animation. Technically. And then we're going to have down attack effect. Does it have to be this way? No. But we are doing it this way. Up attack effect here. Anything that is hard written like this, we're going to replace it here. Wow, this one has right and left separately. I don't know if I like that. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. Don't complicate too much. We're going to simplify later. Do first, simplify, make better later is the idea here. This is not too complicated enough that people are going to be like, I don't understand. So I think we're okay here. Celine says, unfortunately can't stay long. I'm getting ready to go over to a friend's house for a sleepover. I do hope stream goes well. Thank you. I hope you have fun at the sleepover. We all love the good sleepover. You know, growing up, I didn't really do much sleepover because my parents didn't really allow me to. But I think it's a good character building exercise. Though, you know, I have to agree, when you're younger, like sleepover, nothing good can come from it. Especially, I mean, it really depends, I guess. There's a good old fun. Go have fun. I'll see you later. Well, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't pre-kick you out of the stream. Let me know when you're going. we'll say goodbye. But thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Good to see you and everyone. I'm pretty sure there's one more commented out. Ah, there it is. The slash animation needs to be replaced. Oh my gosh, my eyes are so itchy. Sorry, guys. Sorry for showing my nasty side. Okay, we're going to do attack animation here. And then obviously what I'm going to try to do here is do this only if it's like not missing. Or I could even just do this here. There you go. Subupak says, less than 1% of the year left till the Ymas. Oh, yo, exactly. 1% away from Ymas. Nikolai Donskoi says, hello, don't you have an AI assistant? Just curious. I don't really use AI. Here's the thing. I mean, unless I need some sort of like historical research paper. For example, I did use research paper or AI to help me figure this out. New fastest pathfinding algorithm clustering. So there's a new algorithm. I forgot what it was called. I mean, this was like 6 months ago. It's based on clustering. Let me find, who was it by Dwan or something like that? Yeah, Dwan here. So I go Dwan, fastest path algorithm. And obviously the best way to do it is looking at the source. So you can see the original research paper. And then you can open this up. Where's a PDF for us? It should be downloadable. Ah, view PDF. Good research paper. I read through it. It's interesting. There's a lot of setup you need. So it's like for huge graph. It's beneficial. Not for games. I mean, maybe, but not for games for the most part. It's interesting. It's saying that the speed is like, because Dijkstra's algorithm is upper limited by the sorting problem, right? Because you're always priority sorting your queue for the nodes. So n log n is the limit, but this one is reducing it by m log 2/3 n, which is smaller than just regular log n. So faster. And a large scale is huge. Anyway, so I didn't understand that. I was reading through it. I was like, you know what? I need kind of summary. I need to understand. So I use AI in that case. And then I double verify by reading and seeing if it makes sense. But in terms of writing coding, I don't get much help by asking AI assistant to do things that I already know how to do. Unless I'm like, okay, well, I need to do this one particular pattern hundreds of times, and that's just tedious. Then I can see doing that. But if it's just like, I'm thinking while I'm typing, like this is part of the process for me to understand what's going on. It's not that difficult. So I try not to do that too much. I have yet to rely on AI for coding yet. And I've been doing this for like, I mean, maybe because I've been doing this for like 13, 14 years now, professionally, that I just am not used to doing it with the AI. I just don't see the reason to do it. Tony says, do you know about the Godot expression class? I found out about it recently, and I think that is super useful for things like some super specific scripts, like some math for updating prices in upgrading shop or something like that. So instead of creating script, you can just... So the problem with expression is that it is a vulnerable to injection, but I do use expression. I use expression for my dialogue plugin, by the way. So if you remembered my dialogue plugin is scripting engine, right? Because dialogue is script. I parse the dialogue, and part of it requires you to express the Boolean operation, because if you look at my dialogue plugin example, I do use it. It's very super useful for evaluating expressions. There's some extra things you do need to do in order for it to work properly, but you can see right here. So this is my dialogue plugin, and if you open up a sample dialogue, for example, like you can do if, right? If statement. This needs to evaluate to true or false. That I use basically expression class of GDScript in order to evaluate if this is true or false. Because I mean, I could always like parse this expression. If there's like or, I can learn to parse the or symbol, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing all that. I'm just using built-in expression script to express all this as a script, which means it is susceptible to like actually calling functions and stuff like that in here. But I did do necessary like, guarding. So I do remember using that. Very cool. I like it. You should use it. It's great for scripting. And great for making a text-based internalized if you can come up with the use cases, go ahead. Ollie Gigabyte says, or Ol Gigabyte 12345 says, yeah, it's like if you do it too little, you forget it. If you ask AI too much, you forget. Yeah, I mean, basically that's how it goes. It's a tool. It's like Google searching things. Sometimes I Google search how to do graph search, even though I've done it thousands of times in interviews and other things. Doesn't mean I don't know it. It's just sometimes I need a reminder. And once I got a reminder, it's faster for me to type it myself than try and copy and paste and make it fit my use cases. Does that make sense? And then the next level is to be like, well, here's the thing. Here's an algorithm. Here's my use cases. Apply it. They apply it. Let's say the code is not simple. Let's say code is like hundreds of lines. Seemingly it works, but if you know anything about software testing, right? We learned this in school. We learned this at work. What are the ways to test so that you cover everything? Base case, right? Base case meaning the smallest case. Empty input, see what it does. Input with one item, see what it does. Input with base plus one, which means 2 items, see what it does. Random and number, so any number in between 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, see what it does. And then you do absolutely large number. And then you do completely random input that is not contextually relevant. Those are the testing you need to do. So if you do those tests and you find that there is an issue in any of those things, first of all, you need to understand the algorithm in order to come up with those testing. And once you come up with the testing, you test it and you see an error, you have to read the code again. Unless you go, AI, here's the test I gave, and if broke, why did it break? And then they give you, and then you're like, okay, that makes sense. And then you go fix it. It still doesn't work. Then what do you do? I mean, like, it's just headache. Solution is to use only small chunk of your code with AI at a time, I guess. But I mean, at this point in my life and career, it's faster for me to just do it than learn to be efficient with it more than I already am right now. Double Taz, thanks for the follow. Sorry if I'm just chattering about random stuff. Okay, so we did the slash animation. We don't really need it. If it's not existing, it's not going to do anything anyway, so we're good here. We got the character movement handler that does the movement control. So I guess this is more like character movement control. Or is it a handler? Okay. So this is character movement, period. Character movement node, period. Next thing is AI logic, right? AI logic, we already have behavioral tree. So I need the enemy to be like, oh, I'm going to walk around for a little bit. And then I need it to be like, oh, I'm going to attack when I see a player and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. Oh man, that's not going to be easy, huh? Maybe this won't be a easy tutorial after all. Anyways, let's do some collision detection here, shall we? So on hitbox, if we hit something, there's few ways to do it. We can do it based on the signal as soon as things enter. And that might work because I made it so that the hitbox gets enabled and disabled based on when it needs to detect something. So while it's appearing, if it detects something, I think I should be able to just hit things. So let's see if I can determine if it's working properly. So for example, oh man, I really need to finish this today. I don't know if I have time. So I'm going to turn on my controller real quick. So nothing should break here. Oh, little. What the heck? Am I crazy? Something, it feels... Okay, anyways. Nothing there. Come over here and go, oh, I gotta restart. Okay, here we go. Okay. Boom. It didn't break. It didn't detect the hit, even though area entered. So player character hurt. Oh, yeah, no. Hitbox needs to detect enemy hurtbox is monitoring, not monitorable. Enemy hurtbox. Oops, I did it wrong. Enemy hurtbox lives in enemy hurtbox, and then it doesn't detect anything. It's only monitorable. Hitbox is monitoring, and it lives nowhere, and it's monitoring the player hurtbox. Cool. Okay. I didn't create any, so we're gonna put a little rectangle here. Probably. And just, I don't know, make it generous. We'll do a generous hitbox here. And then basically we go over here. Boom. Oh my gosh. I really need to implement that coyote time. It's really hard to like jump in the corner. I just need to jump earlier. Ah, yes, I hit it. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's working. All right. So now when it's detecting it. Okay. Sick. We got to do something here. We said, I don't want anything else. I just want if I'm in the air, I want to jump back up. Basically, as soon as I hit something with a down attack, not side attack, if I hit something with a down attack, which means if I'm doing down attack, which will be like, oh, hey, you are not on the floor, is on floor, is not on floor, and obviously I was attacking, that's why hitbox registers, so I don't have to do anything. But I think the direction, the input direction, down attack, which, let's see if I can do something. Perform down attack, is not on the floor. Only way to detect if we were doing down attack was by looking at the sprite animation, which feels a little silly. I'm gonna do it anyways. Oh, no, I hate this though. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for now. We'll replace it later. It's like, oh, this is a terrible way to do it, but we're going to do it anyways. DJ Girth says, a tech direction variable? Yes, we need it. We need it. But look, so I was trying to compartmentalize and make it so that the controller is separate and controller is taking the input. And this is the one that's determining which attack needs to be done. So, yes. Yes. So we can have technically... You're really going to make me do it the right way. See, if you didn't point it out, I would be like, oh, it's okay. I'm not going to do it the right way. But now I'm like, I have to do it the right way. So we can do... Forget it. Use the sprite animation. It's too late. It's too late. We're done here. Oh, no. I don't want to do this right now. I mean, I kind of have to. No, I don't. All right, here's a dilemma. Dilemma is that I need to make this sample project ASAP so I can share it as part of the sample game that we're going to be making in the demo, or going to be making in the course, which, by the way, the context is I'm making a course for super beginners, and it's going to be a platformer, plug and play, blah, 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 blah. But I do need to create the demo first before I do the lesson, so I can be like, well, here are all the variables. This is like a test project for me to see what all things needs to go in. I do have a lesson plan, but I'm just making sure everything is great. So the dilemma is I can prioritize. Well, first of all, I should probably stop chatting. DJ Girth is, we leave it to the viewers to complete. No. That's not it. That's not it. I definitely want to notice anything that I should be doing right the first time and then do it that way. But it's just that the demo that I provide, does it have to be correct? You know, that's the question. Make it first, fix it later. Okay, we're gonna do the direction later. Okay, guys, don't do this to me. So if I'm doing down attack. If down attack, bounce up, minor amount, hopefully. So the perform jump is just regular jump. It's gonna be too much, obviously. I think it's gonna be too much. And then it's going to do it's gonna take the re-input. You know what? That might actually be okay. If I hit down attack, stop attack animation, and perform jump, it's going to immediately end. There's some state variation here. This is where I'm like, oh, do I regret not using state machine? I don't. As it is complex relationship between state transition. So I am happy that we're not using state machine. Okay. It's just sometimes I don't know what's gonna happen until I actually play the game, guys. I just didn't want to introduce this concept of state machine just yet. So I'm trying to do it with the basic understanding of, hey, you understand Boolean. It's easy to understand. True, false, right? And then, you know, so you understand what's going on. Oh, whoa. Did you see that? I just did a wall jump. I didn't program that in. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's like, it's only if I'm like clinging onto the corner. A feature, not a bug. It's like a hyper speed runner tech. I don't know why that's happening. Wait, is it considering that it's on floor? Whatever. Okay. Oh my gosh, I really need coyote time. Come on, man. Okay. Wait. Huh. Wait, what's not satisfying? Is it not called down attack? Oh, it's air down attack. There you go. Okay. Wait, no. Okay, it is right. Let's try this. A little bit. I want it to be a little bit more significant. So, you know what? For now, we're going to do a bounce logic separately, which will be a jump animation ascending. When you're bouncing, I don't think you can add to it. We're going to do that. Instead, we're going to use a full jump speed as the beginning. Let's see. If that just works without a bug, I'll be amazed. Wait! Oh my gosh. That gap is really hard to make. Definitely need a running as a part of the feature as well. Maybe not, I don't know. That's too much maybe. By the way, I made all these pixel art. It will soon be available. Wait. Hold on. Am I crazy? We're ascending. Why is it falling so hard? Oh, oops. So we're gonna bounce. Wrong code. It's falling so hard because I'm calling the wrong code. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting there. Got that little bounce. That means we could even have a little needle field that we can bounce around. That feels better. Oh gosh. I do think that it's a little bit too fast, I think. We're gonna have to reduce the player speed a little bit. Not the jump speed, but the running speed. Let's do 150 here so that I can have more control. It now feels like it's crawling. Okay, maybe 200, 210. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Okay. Oh, that also means I can't make that gap anymore. Tile map. It's okay though. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make the player character sprite animation a little bit slower because it looks silly. Oh my god. I made my game accidentally too difficult, even though that's not the point of the game. The point of the game is demoing this. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Tile map. Just gonna move this here. Just paint this. Here you go. Oh my gosh. I need the coyote time so bad. Feels so bad. Alright. Okay. The fall is really fast. I think the fall needs to be slower. Or at least make the up. You know what? I'm gonna make it so that the gravity when it's going up feels floatier. I think that's the issue here. So we're gonna weaken the gravity, falling at 45 is okay, maybe. The maximum also feels a little bit too much, so we're going to adjust the maximum jump, which is added jump speed. We'll drop it down to 3,000. And jump 100 as a limit. Yeah, that feels a little better. Maybe the side movement is still a little bit too fast. Like, it feels like this is like a run speed. Like, the aiming the side feels a little bit hard. What if I'm like going, I go boop. Let's say I need to skip a hazard. Like that. Maybe it needs to bounce higher. It does feel like the bounce needs to be higher power. Let's see. Perform bounce. Let's do that real quick. Okay, a little bit too much. Let's do 1.5 of that. That feels okay. Still feels a little bit too strong. I don't know. Something feels... Am I like... Maybe I'm looking at it too much. Things are starting to feel weird. This like additional jump. The additional jump feels weird. It is already doing that. I mean, we can make it even more. I do think that the bounce strength is a little bit too strong still. Maybe the fall animation needs to be faster. Maybe like... Hey, thanks for the follow. Sehov? TSC Savov. Okay, that feels a little better. Okay. Whoa, that actually feels like a good gameplay. And if I'm running, then I have a bigger momentum. I have to say aiming is a bit difficult for some reason. I almost feel like... Hold on. Yeah. Boom, boom. I feel like it happens really quickly though. I think overall the decel and acceleration needs to be slower. Like I need the jump speed to be slower, a little bit more airy, so that I can actually react better. So we're gonna do 600 to start, but drop this down significantly. Hopefully that'll make it so that it feels a little bit better. It's the same height, but then like slower. Okay, almost. A little bit faster. Adjust default to be like 25 to 40 maybe. Man, this tuning is everything, honestly, for the player feel. Okay, that feels better. Yeah, that feels much better. So, slower initial power. It still feels a little floaty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that the initial jump is 2/3 of the power instead of that. And then let's see, 2/3 of power. That might mean I might need to up this. Oh, actually, that seems to be that 1/3. Oh, I see. The smallest jump is kind of weak then. I guess it's not that bad. I mean, it feels pretty similar to Hollow Knight. Hey, hey, Mike R says morning and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from Australia. Hey, good day, mate. Welcome, welcome. Ad will be starting in 1 minute. I don't know. Part of me is just enjoying the interaction, so I'm not really complaining. I do feel like the attack animation needs to be a layer above the character. That's not that bad. Feels good. My car says like our doing a platformer, but I didn't notice you haven't followed the trend and doing a state machine by now nodes. I mean, I have a state machine that does by nodes, but I am not using a state machine right now. Like the 1,000 times I've done character animation, it's just there's just too many pieces that needs to happen at the same time and be adjustable. So technically, like even the whole like using animation tree as a state machine so that you have like better blend option, I feel like it's more complicating it. I like doing player control as a Boolean flags, bunch of Boolean flags, and then you just have a mapping of these are the rules of the execution and transition, as opposed to actually making a graph and map relationship. Mike R says, it's like the trend is you just have to use a state machine in nodes, but you don't need to just go get it done. Yeah. Hey, Randall says, Merry Xmas morning from Melbourne. Hello, Melbourners. Welcome. McCurry says, you gotta use dialog plugin and your state machine plugin and your dialog box plugin and enter a million more plugin made by. Yeah, I know there's so many. Hey, look, it's all gonna come together. It's all going to make sense. What's going to happen is that one of these days, well, probably the next once I'm ready, I'm gonna do a bunch of game jams, and you'll see then how much faster I can make games. Yeah, ads are going for 2 minutes now. At this point, I'm just playing. You gotta admit, this looks fun, doesn't it? I'm having fun. Is this unique? No. This is exactly Hollow Knight. I mean, there's nothing new here. Gameplay-wise, there's nothing new here. Only thing different is the character and the platform and the art, but you've seen this before. Maybe I don't need a side dead zone. Let me get rid of the side dead zone and see if I can control this better. X-axis, we're gonna get rid of the dead zone to be 0.1. So you turn quickly. There you go. Hopefully this coming year, I will release my gas plugin system for Godot. What's gas? Do explain. Share with us. Is plugin all the way down? Look, I'm going to make my plugin, my dialogue plugin, my dialogue box, my state machine, my controller. At least AI control will be used in here, I think. A gameplay ability system, eh? Okay. I saw an amazing Slay the Spire like platform that somebody released for Godot. And they shared it on Reddit. And it looks like it's like everything with like proper architecture design with interceptors and stuff like that. I was kind of interested in looking at that. Looked promising. All right, well, I got a bouncing person, so we're good there. We gotta move the enemy. I don't want to overcomplicate the enemy logic. I want to make it so that the enemy stays on the platform they're already at. Meaning we're probably going to make a ray cast that's directional from the point, like so. And this one is going to read for... It's trying to detect world collision. Inv collision, I guess. So it's going to do environment collision. And tile map is going to reside in environmental collision world. And it's detecting player and enemy. Oh, of course it's falling through. Player character is going to be detecting the environment. Enemy character is also going to be detecting the environment, like so. There you go. My car says, I'm a Unreal developer which has adopted Godot. I see. One example of the system is gameplay tags, where you can apply a tag and have it auto remove after a period of time, and or when other tag gets applied to the node. Tag system is useful. Timed tag system is interesting. You're using? I don't quite understand, like for cooldowns and states and stuff like that. You do realize their nodes have something called metadata, generic metadata folder, and also there's groups you can use for that. I'm not sure if you're trying to systemize that. It's an interesting idea, no doubt. Okay. I was supposed to be done with this part today. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to finish it because I'm already getting tired. I'm like, I kind of want to just play Baldur's Gate at this point. Oh, I wanna be so lazy. My car says, think of player getting poisoned by your enemy. This weapon the enemy used would apply poison tag to the player. As it ticks, it would reduce health. But if the player applies a heal or cure, they can remove it. Yeah, that makes sense. Status system. Condition. I guess there's a lot of ways to implement that. You could use tag. Benefit of using group would be auto-indexing by the node tree. So you can grab everybody that has certain tag and you can take down together without having to organize it yourself, right? Because you can go scene tree, get nodes with group, blah, blah, blah. So auto-indexing is good. Mike R says, but you could also have the player apply the poison tag to the enemy and it will do the same. Exactly. I get it. Sounds fun. Could be useful if you can really systematically like make that work. Seems like it's something that's pretty useful to have. I'm sorry guys, I'm just like kicking this and going up and down and back and forth. It's just, I have to say this bounce feels really good. I'm giving myself the pat on the back by just being like, oh, this feels great, everyone. No sound though, no satisfying sound effect. Mike R says, but it's a good background project to play with. Performance will be the test, I see. Look at this glide. I mean, this is good. Mike Gar says, may have to use GD extension and C++ for it. We'll see. Yeah. You know, do whatever you need to do. I'm looking forward to seeing how it performs. Maybe I'll have usage for it yet in the future. All right. Cool. What's next? Bounce is working. Oh, that's right. I was doing the enemy. Enemy needs to move around. So we're going to have enemy behavior. That's essentially a state tree. Hi, Gil Gamer. Or Gil Game Dev. Hi. I don't know what Gil stands for, but welcome either way. We've been making games here on this pre-holiday day. Well, this holiday day for some people. That's past 7 hour 8 9 10 11 11 p.m. 11 plus would be Greenwich plus 1 to 3 hours. So like if you're east of Turkey, you're in Christmas. Gil says, Gil is just my nickname, but of course it wasn't available on Twitch, I see. Okay, makes sense. All right, Raycast, this is going to be the a fall off cast. I mean, I shouldn't even have to do this. It's going to be the viewing stick. Viewing stick. So the viewing stick is like a little pole that the visually impaired people step around with. Is simply going to trigger when it detects stuff. Or I guess there's no emit, so I guess I have to do RSM bodies here. Hit from inside, I don't really care about that one. Makar says 10:40 a.m. Christmas Day in Melbourne. Ah, that's right. As I said, east of Turkey. 10:40 a.m. Huh, maybe my calculation is wrong. But Merry Xmas to you. Maybe I need to sing you guys a... Here, let me celebrate. You know the meme where they go, Anuk's Christmas? Chestnut roasting on an open fire. Nick Frost nipping at your nose. You know that meme? That's what I need to do. I need the filter. I don't know how to put on filter here on Streamlabs, so I can't do it for you. We got the viewing stick. I suppose we gotta turn the character around. This is a behavior, so we need a behavior tree. Now the question is, do I use my plugin for behavior tree or not? I guess if it's easy to use, I want to simplify it. So I think I'm going to make a node for behavior. Character behavior. And that's simply going to attach a script here. Mike R says, this is what I want to see. I want to implement this as well. Behavior tree, I mean, if you want a real implementation, I have it. It's just I'm trying to do a simplified. Okay, so the context for those of you who weren't here for when I was explaining this 1,000 times before. I'm not annoyed. I'm just saying it like this because, you know, I'm sure there are other people. This is part of the course that I'm launching. Very beginner starter Godot system roadmap course. 1 month to build your first game. learn to code, but you don't all have to learn everything. Some parts are programmable, some parts are just parameters. You get tools and stuff like that. So as part of that, I'm just trying to make this simple game that's considered complete and playable. That's kind of fun. And so I'm using like Hollow Knight platformer as like a model to make that a simple version of that and help people guide through that. So yes, technically I could use a full-on behavior tree, but I feel like there's a danger of how difficult that is. So look, this is my behavior tree. And because Mike you are over here, I shall show you my behavior trees. If you show me yours, I'll show you mine. A fair trade. Let's see if your behavior tree is bigger than mine. Shoot. Hi. Oh, what is it? Is it Liar? Is that how you say your name? Or Ire? Hello. Nice to meet you. This is my first impression of you, by the way, right? So I have this behavior tree thing. Let's see. Berry folk. Oh, yeah, see? Berry folk behavior. Iris is funny. Thanks for the follow. Wow, I got a follow from that. Exactly. We should trade our views all the time. So this behavior tree already handles a normal behavior tree behaviors, and you can insert the nodes into this behavior tree. And behavior tree in itself is a behavior tree node where you can define if it is a selector or sequence. Those are two different types of nodes you can have, right? Each node will have list of behaviors. Sequence will execute each one of them in order or in priority until one of them fails. Then it exits. Selector will go through the behaviors in order until one of them succeeds. So selector will successfully behave in a single way. Sequence has a chance of executing all of them opposite of each other. So this constitutes all the behaviors. So a selector runs decorator nodes, yes. I mean, they're both executing on the leaves, and then they are basically ands and ors, basically. A selector selects one first successful one, sequence executes everything until something fails. And then you have combination of these. You can have a selector of selectors, right? To make a behavior tree. This is a proper way of doing behavior tree. So in my behavior, if I remember, I have all these behaviors. And you can see all of these behaviors are separate behavior trees that I created. So for example, go and drop. This one is a behavior name called go and drop in a sequence, meaning execute everything in the thing. So it's going to walk to the target and it's going to drop. And if you look at walk to the target, you know, it's its own thing, blah, blah, blah. I guess this is not really that complicated. And the implementation wise, if you look at all these behavior, when I'm implementing the behavior, obviously I am extending the abstractor that I described. And only thing that is required is the execute part. Execute part determines if it's successful or failed. So you can see this one, the go and drop behavior is considered failure if any of the children behavior has failed. That's just how I defined it. This is my definition of it. So you can see the walk to target. On its execution, I do all of this. And then define if the update has been successful, it's in progress. If it's in progress, it's going to wait on that behavior. Update, 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 update. Or when it's concluding into a fail or a success. And then the drop as well, you can see it's going to be like, hey, if the berry folk is holding something, then we can actually drop. If it's not holding anything, then it can't drop anything because it's not holding anything. So it fails type of situation. By the way, I also implemented goal-oriented action planning as part of this as well. So this one in particular, these berry folks, their goal is to propagate, and they auto select their behavior. And basically they're tilling the ground right now. So what they did was that the goal right now for these berry folks is to increase the flower count. And they see different behaviors they can do, and they change the state of the game. And they're auto searching what path in that state transition it needs to do in order to achieve the goal. So it's like watering these plants priority wise. That one is dead. It's watering it. Plant is gone, so it dropped the water and it's saying, you know what, I gotta go plant a seed. So all of these guys are like, okay, let me plant a seed. And this one is like, oh, there's no seed to plant, so I'm gonna just walk around and search until the seed comes up. I have another seed. Then everybody is gonna be like, oh my gosh, I gotta go get the seed. And this one is like bugged out. I don't know where he's going. Where's he going? But yeah, I mean, that's just generally the idea. And they get old, they die. See that this is an emergency right now, so everybody was like, oh, we gotta get the water for this. This one gets the water, and this one is tilling the ground. They are all deciding that the watering is priority. Oh, watering, okay, there's one seed, let me till the ground. Everybody's going for that single seed now. It's kind of funny to see they're all doing things in order to do something, and they're like, ah, that was supposed to be my seed. It's kind of fun. And then now there's Ro running around. Water them, please, water them. Oh, successful, nice. Oh, they're getting old. We got some berry family going on here. They're just walking around aimlessly. They should socialize with each other for sure. Excuse me. Eventually, one of them, the grandpas, will die. I'm waiting for them to die to become a seed so that they can start planting themselves. And the real cycle begins. 1 year takes a while. Oh, ran out of screen. That happens. 65 days, I think on 3rd year they die. So we'll see. Bam. They died. They're like, oh my gosh, we gotta plant. We must propagate our children. So they go. They're gonna try to... Oh, you gotta go to the other land. There you go. Somebody should water. Oh, wrong priority. Wrong priority. This one's gonna die. This one knows what it's doing. Nope, it doesn't know what it's doing. Yes, please, water this. No, you'll be wiped out. They make some bad calls here. It's okay. You know, that's the beauty of AI. Anyways, so that's the official behavior tree. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do that for beginners. If I'm like, hey, guys, you're going to learn the concept of behavior tree and you're going to implement this, pretty sure that beginner course is going to go to the ground. All right. So basic behavior on this one, I just want it to be just simple do this or that structure. That's easier to understand. So I could be like, Mike R says, where do you publish the courses? The details will be available. It's going to be via so I have a team that does this in general. So I'm just providing the materials and videos and courses and like a lot of the planning, but they're building the front page for purchasing the course. And then it goes to somewhere called Gitbook as the kind of like the course data, which will be accessible. So it's going to be a direct link to my thing. Next video is going to have that one. Next video is about how to balance deck builders and how broken balance is actually a real balance. I haven't really thought about the title of the thing. Mike R says, have you thought of talking to GameDev.tv to host and publish? What is that? No, I have never heard of that. Oh, interesting. No, I haven't. You know what? You know, like later when I have time and energy to do things myself, maybe. Currently, the team approached me, and they're confident that they can help me. And I was like, you know what? They're like, it's not going to cost you anything. We're just going to split the rev. So I was like, okay. I'm still reviewing all of it, and I'm like, there's part of it that I'm like, oh, I need to really like handhold some of those parts, because you know, obviously I have a very strong creative direction. That's my downfall, is I have like too much specific taste. But Mike R says that's where Grant Abbott hosts his. I see. Well, I'll take a look. Thanks for letting me know. So character behavior, we're gonna say execute. It's basically just gonna be walk around, turn around if ledge, attack if player near. Simple. That's it. These are going to be the decisions that I'm going to be making. Turn around if ledge. That means we need to be like, hey, character, if you're on the ledge. How do we know? Character behavior. Okay, so behavior itself shouldn't know anything about the world information. That's the first thing. Or do I ask, should there be some sort of abstract class that defines the character's state? So for example, if I say, hey, you know what, there's like a character state, whatever that may be. And I say, hey, you know, like I could say character ledge, if near ledge, you know, is near ledge, then I go character state or character movement, turn around, right? Like this would be the ideal way to do this, I think. There's a movement controller, and then there's a character state information informer. So if I could do something like this, right? If it is near the ledge, then we're going to turn around. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving. And then would probably be like, walk around every, I don't know, 10 seconds. Or walk around for 4 seconds. Idle for, I don't know, 1 second. So it could be doing that kind of stuff. If character state can see or is near player, character movement control, face player, and then attack or something like that, right? I mean, this could be a generic way to do it. I mean, it'll make this a lot cleaner. Mike R says, I'm creative as well, and that creative tends to mean I swap and change projects as I think of others. The ADHD doesn't help. Well, no, I can relate to that. But alas, we have to finish something eventually. And that's part of it. The part of training is learning to finish. Stick around. Get to the end. How to plan for those who can't plan because of the short attention span. Got to make planning fun. Make planning be a game. The first thing you need to do is like, wow, let's see how good I am at guessing how fast or how slow I can be. That's the game. First thing is when you're making a roadmap, you got to be like, I'm playing a game of guessing exactly how long this project completion will be. And to play that game well, I'm going to strategize. By the way, thanks for the follow, Caritas. I didn't see that. And Kamarai as well. Sorry. And then you go, okay, well, in order to do that, I'm going to say probably this will take 1 week. This will take 2 weeks. And then you could give a point system for yourself to be like, okay, so there's a two system. As a planner, during the plan phase, I get more points closer I am to the actual date, right? And then, blah, blah, blah. And then as a executioner, person who is executing the goal, I get more points. So there's two different players. As someone who's programming the game, I get more point for doing this under par of the goal. And then as a planner, the counterplay is I get less penalty in my points if I update. So if I have to adjust and meet the goal again, if I replan because of how fast my other personality who's executing is doing so fast or so slow, then I get, I don't know, reduced penalty, or I get point for that. So then your goal now is just like trying to increase your points as a planner and as a programmer. So you have this game. Make a game system and see how that goes. I mean, that's how I see it in my head. It helps as someone with ADHD. There's something about that where it feels like I'm min-maxing my RPG character, so it just feels like I'm playing a game. See if it resonates with you, and see how that goes. Make a game. The project planning the game. We're launching the game. Okay, so walk around for 4 seconds, idle for 1 second. So this one I think we can do, let's say, something like, obviously this is pseudocode because this doesn't exist yet, but we'll figure it out. So let's say time since last walk, or since, or time, or current action duration, which will be in seconds. So we're going to be like, execute will come with some sort of delta, I suppose. Or I could go time tick in millisecond. And then we can go current action duration, last update, msec, and at the end it's going to last update msec will be get ticks in millisecond. And this one starts at 0. Say our delta. Obviously I could use process, but I'm doing this so that I don't have to use process. Abe Link, hey, long time no see, Abe Link. Abe Link says, hi Ezra, do you think MERN stack is still valuable skill to learn in 2026? I'm thinking of pivot from AI ML. I'm not going to pretend to know what that is. MERN stack. MERN stack is a popular JavaScript-based collection of technologies for building full-stack web application. Okay, so it's a web application stack. MongoDB, okay, MongoDB, ExpressJS, React, and Node. I did hear that the React is falling out of style. It depends on your goal, I think. You always have to ask yourself, like, am I learning a stack or using a stack just so that I can use it for my own project? Or are you learning a stack because you want to be applicable for work? You know? because there's no reason to update your stack if you're just building. There's one exception, is you see new tools and new strategies coming out that you're like, oh my god, that will like significantly improve my life, and then you're not in that stack, or there's no one else that's working on a external helper library plugin to make that work in your stack, which I doubt, because most of the times people are working on legacy system. Like companies and already launched programs are working on a stack. They have a legacy system. If they don't come up with library or temporary solutions, that means every time something new that they could really really valuable thing comes along, you have to re-migrate everything as opposed to making small adjustments, which is an indicator. If you see a new technology coming through and then you don't see any effort to move to that from the old stack, I think you can ignore it then, right? Like it's a telltale sign that it's not necessary. Mike R says, one thing to try is go through LinkedIn and search for jobs that you want to do. Look at requirements and work out which is the most used on those roles. I mean, that is true. Abelink says, everyone says to learn Spring Boot Java for jobs. Spring Boot. Spring sounds like Amazon stuff. Is that public now? Spring Boot, popular open source Java-based framework used to build standalone production grade application, minimal configuration. Yeah, I mean, these are what the industries are using. That's why. I mean, at least most of the server side is Java server legacy now. For any reputable companies. I don't know why it became like that, but it is. Why is it like that? I don't know if there was a just like trend, or it just happens that everybody who's in the know, who's like the senior engineers, are all from Amazon. Maybe that's why. I don't know why. At the end of the day, full stack engineer just means you know how the intricacies of relationship between the front end, relationship between server side, serving page, and then API, right? The server for page is different for server for API. Those are two different things that happen. Serving a page and serving a customer and using a backside like logic like SSL to serve a page is different from calling API and setting up API. You just need to know those things. So the stacks don't really matter, because I guarantee you, if you're getting a job, you will have to learn something new. You will have to learn something new. Guess why? Because if you get on new project, unless you're building on top of something really rigorous, you will eventually have to do the exercise of, okay, for this project, which stack should we use out of all these things that are available? Even in internal tools, there's so many internal server stacks. There's so many internal like homebrewed version of these full stacks. There's a full stacks, for example, when I was working at Amazon, there were full stacks that were being pushed out for people who's developing tools for internal usage, which is different from what they were using facing customers. I mean, that's not because they made a purpose built for internal only. That's because anytime new team spins up, new promotion gets spun up, and they're like, we're going to make this easier, they make a new version, they can't migrate everyone immediately. They have to prove their customer point, right? Which means easiest way to get a customer without risking external thing is by saying, internal team, let's make a deal, use our tool set, use our stack, and give us feedback so we get a real customer feedback without worrying about all these other like external impact. So then you have these like spawn off of like bunch of stacks that you have to always consider anyways. So it doesn't, that question itself for a job just makes no sense to me as much. But at the end of the day, what's important is learn something popular, understand what goes on, and get used to changing your stack all the time. So 2026, should you change? Maybe. I mean, you are exercising your ability to change. You're exercising ability to take one information and apply it to new things. But is it as important as getting a job because of you knowing that itself is important? I don't think so. Abling says, see, the thing is I hate Python at this point. Everyone knows it. Mike R says, if doing data science work for AI modeling, Python is the best option. I wouldn't be able to say because I'm not in the modeling industry of the data. Also, there's not enough data anymore. Abling said to break into AI, bare minimum is top conferences paper. See, the end goal is to build online businesses which generate passive income. Okay, then choose whatever is easiest and most secure. Because if you actually want to make it was, bro, at the end, I want to stream and chill with people like you. You know what? That is the dream, isn't it? I'm over here just making games and trying to chill with people. Let's not talk about careers, really. I really don't want to go back to work. But, you know, if my course thing doesn't work out, if my videos in the next few months doesn't work out, I may have to start looking at jobs again. I'm putting March, February as kind of like the deadline for myself, but I have a good feeling. We'll see. Okay, so delta is current time minus the current action duration, meaning how long it took for the oh, no. Hold on. Last update millisecond. That's the delta. Current action duration will add delta to it. If current action duration is greater than, I guess what we need to do is like, hey, character is walking and the current action has been for, let's say, walk duration. I don't even want to do that configured. I'll do that. Say 4,000 millisecond. Then we want to say, hey, we're going to reset this and we're going to go into idle. For example, do idle here. And then if it's not walking, for example, all the time, is idle. And then I've been doing this for like idle duration. And that's like 1 second, for example. Then we're going to reset the current action duration here and then have the character walk, perform walk, run, doesn't matter, right? Walk around for 4 seconds, idle for 1 second for now. Let's see. Sorry for burping in the mic. Abling says, are you a hardcore game dev? I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore. I'm just full-time game dev at this point. It's specifically Godot, because that's what I'm doing. This is my full-time job. Abling says, oh, you use C++. Do I? I don't. Mike R says, I started with C back in the early 90s, and because of the good foundation, I find that now a couple of hours and I can pick up general. Yeah. I mean, I feel like any language should allow you to do that, but C especially, I feel like anybody can, I don't know. I mean, am I biased? Because that's how I learned in school. Now, granted, that wasn't the first thing I learned. So when I learned programming by myself, I learned Visual Basic. And I did that when I started Visual Basic before I learned English. So I was like 3rd grade and I just followed Visual Basic reference book and I just made stuff. Didn't quite understand what was going on, but it was like, made me not scared of it. Hey, thanks for the sub, Danimal. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for the 7-month sub. And Merry Christmas indeed. Happy holidays. We're chatting about programming experiences and stacks and stuff like that. I hope you're doing well. How are you, Bedanimal? Are you well? Do you live? Anyways, But that didn't make any sense. Whatever, the whole like elementary school thing doesn't even count. And then I went to a high school here in America, and then they introduced me to like, I forgot what the language was, but it was like those like scripting language where back in the 90s, or not 90s, early 2000s, they had it's like a two window. One of them is like graphic and one of them is like coding. And then you can make games or like stuff just for like programming practices. Demo says, had my surgery, but yeah, doing well. That's good. Hope you're recovering well for the holidays. Yeah, Demo. Successful surgery. Woo. Anyway, so, and then I was like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. I learned how to do that. And not high school, that was middle school. And then in high school, I had another programming course. I think that was Visual C or Visual Studio. It was called Visual Studio. It wasn't basic, it was a C. And there, as my final project, I made Bomberman. It wasn't required. I made a Bomberman the game as my final project, which was kind of fun. It was interesting. I used nothing I learned in the class. I just basically had to learn everything on by myself. And then I didn't know computer science was I didn't even know computer science was a subject. I didn't know that was like a degree. So I went into college for physics, but I saw my friends programming for their homework. And I was like, what? I didn't know programming was a career, which is kind of funny to say nowadays. But I was like, oh, let me do that. And I did that for myself. And then I was like, you know what? I should probably change my major. And did that. And there we learned Java. Java is the first thing. But one of the class, okay, so this long story short, I didn't start with C. I didn't start with assembly. I didn't start with learning computing. But when I did that, the world changed, and that like the way I see programming completely changed, in that the optimization and understanding language is fundamentally different. Because when you're learning electrical engineering type of situation where you're using logic gate and understanding how logic gate evolved into hardware programming and evolved into software programming of retaining memory, cache hits and misses, CPU, how to make your own CPU if you wanted to, and then actually doing that. Assembly makes sense now. And assembly makes sense. C makes sense now. And all the memory management of what C does makes a lot of sense. And now the Java that I knew with when they were talking about garbage collection and memory management and all those things start to make more sense. Because when you're learning Java, they're like, oh, hey, like this is a garbage collection. This thing is necessary. A pointer that is loose. What does that mean, right? Like floating reference. What does that mean? I feel like everybody should learn that first. I really think, like, I don't know. I guess only downside is that you can turn off a lot of people if you start with electrical engineering way. But I think that is the right way to learn it. I don't know. Anyways, a lot of talk. Mike says, I had the most fun when we started to convert from VB.NET to C# for MDXNA for Xbox, like, you know. Then doing the rest of the work to make the native DirectX run in .NET. I mean, those are the like power days. I say even before my time. Abling says, I have lost interest in programming. I had started with this with being inspired from the movie Social Network. I want that child in me to get through this again. Trying to hop on trends, learning it, trying to get interviews, all this makes me feel bad. Oh, you know what? There's no shame in reconsidering what you want to do with your life. Like, I say being too late for anything is the biggest lie. You just need to really find things that you want to do for what you want to do. But at the same time, if what you want to do, only thing that is standing in the way is your desire to learn or your discouragement, if only thing that's stopping you is like this, be feeling discouraged for not understanding or feeling worse than others, then you need to look at it again, because everything in life, you will get that feeling. That feeling never goes away. No matter how good you are at something, like everything, you will get to a stage of, this is too much. There are always people better than me. You know, it's like, this is tedious. Like that, there's that stage in everything. And I think that what's important is being able to see beyond it and see what picture, what image beyond that stage gives you the most joy. What picture beyond that image can you feel and dream in your mind being like, that is where I want to be? Then all these other steps that are tedious and hard is just a boulder for you to push. It might be boring. Pushing a boulder is boring, but as long as moving, as long as the boulder's moving, you'll get there eventually. You don't have to do that fast. Mike R says, Denimal, I just finished 16 weeks chemo and 5 weeks of radiation therapy. Wow, you finished it? Congrats on finishing. You got this. Or I don't know if you're finished, but I don't know how that works. Yes, you got this, Mike R. Get through it. You could get into quant with that type of sea knowledge, Abling says. Can you? Savikin says, wrong. I'm the best at being me. No one else can be better at being me. If you had a husband or wife, you would know that that's probably not true, is what I hear. I don't have a husband or wife, so I wouldn't know. Abling says, well, if being poor was a game, I would top the charts. Unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in. You know what? Eventually, I want to be like, hey, you're poor? Let me give you money. How awesome would that be? That'd be great. Unfortunately, I can't do that. Everybody, pray for me. Pray for just me, okay? Don't pray for yourself to be rich. Pray for me to be rich so I can make you rich. Yeah, this is how the scam works, right? This is how all like scam starts to work. If you vote for my success, eventually you will be successful. That's what the politicians do, right? Hey guys, trickle down. I swear. I'm obviously you can never imagine yourself succeeding, but you can imagine me succeeding, right? So why waste your money and try to make yourself successful? Make me successful. Give me money. Okay? Give me support. And when I'm actually successful, maybe then you'll have a hope of being successful through me. Is the lie that people tell, right? Was that a little bit too convincing? I felt like that came a little bit too from the deep in my heart. Tenable says, chemo is tough. Glad to hear you finished. Mike R says, thanks, ... It's okay. I said, bro, Drake, God's plan. That's right, you got this. What the heck? Mikori says, still waiting for Easy Studios developer role. I know, I have to release it. You pay me to be part of my studio. That's the only way that works. And that's how we make a triangle and say, you pay me, but what you're going to do is you're going to gather people to pay you to be in this team. And then you're going to promise them a bright future. And they're going to, no. Evelyn says, he taught 4 years of psychology that costs 100K USD in a university in 30 sec. Is that what that is? Anyways. Isn't that funny? It's pretty funny. Mikori says, can't be a pyramid scheme if it's triangle. Exactly. It's two-dimensional. No, it's circle, actually, with me in the center. Then Mikori says different dimensional space. Yeah. All right, wow. It's been 3 hours. They said I'm going to stream for 3 hours. I guess I didn't really finish today. But we got some movement thing going on. Let's see. Let me give myself a little note here. So I got to finish the behavior so it actually works so that the enemies move back and forth. I'm already bouncing. So after the enemy movement works, I got to do killing player. So we need a health. And then killing enemy. And then maybe enemy will drop something. That's basic. It's drop shards, coins. So enemy movement finish up. That's half work. Kill enemy, kill player, which is health. restart, hazards, pitfall. I actually want to make a spike that you can jump over. Spike, spike, spike. So you can go bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm not going to do any camera stuff. Camera's too advanced, I think. It's not, but it is. It's not advanced because you just drop it and it works. It's advanced because you're switching movements and field of view. I want people to be contained within the box for now. Second month of tutorial. So first course will be you're in the box. Second course is here's how you break out of the box. Yeah? So that's how I'm gonna make money here. All right. Start thinking about if you want to help me. And I know all of you guys are already, I mean, unless you're a beginner. I know most of you guys are not beginners, so really can't benefit from this course probably. What would help is if you have any friends or family that you can think of that wants to learn and is struggling and doesn't know how to start thinking about them. That would help me. And also that would be a good test base. So yeah, well, I think I'm gonna be done here. Let me raid out. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been fun. I actually really needed to get that done, but I'll have to figure out the consequence later. Master Moomin. Why does Master Moomin sound familiar? This doesn't look like game dev, though. Minecraft. You know what? Let's go to Big Boy. Of course, it's cry cry. It's okay, everyone. You'll see me someday. I'll be back next week, probably. Thanks for watching, everyone. And as long as this is ready, we're gonna say goodbye. Bye. Okay. And then I gotta say bye to YouTube as well.